Agent Key, yeah, selling Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. Agent Key, selling Sacramento. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. Oh yeah. Agent Key, yeah, selling Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. Agent Key, selling Sacramento. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Agent Key, yeah, selling Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. Agent Key, selling Sacramento. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Agent Key, yeah, selling Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. Agent Key, selling Sacramento. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Selling Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. Oh yeah. Agent Key, yeah, selling Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. Agent Key, selling Sacramento. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Agent Key, yeah, selling Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. Agent Key, selling Sacramento. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Agent Key, yeah, selling Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. Agent Key, selling Sacramento. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Selling Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. Oh yeah. Agent Key, yeah, selling Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. Agent Key, she's selling Sacramento. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Agent Key, yeah, selling Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. Agent Key, she's selling Sacramento. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Agent Key, yeah, selling Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. Agent Key, she's selling Sacramento. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. Oh yeah. Agent Key, yeah, selling Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. Agent Key, she's selling Sacramento. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Agent Key, yeah, selling Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. Agent Key, she's selling Sacramento. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Agent Key, yeah, selling Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. Agent Key, she's selling Sacramento. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Selling Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. She's selling Sacramento. Oh yeah. Agent Key.
To the bathroom.
I'm in help mode.
Hey, everybody. We're about to go live, y'all. Ooh, perfect timing. All right. Selling Sacramento. Hey, Norman, are you watching? Hey, guys. Selling Sacramento.
5.
I hope this works.
1.
Hey everyone, it is Wednesday. You're listening to 97.5 FM KDEE. I am Agent Key and we are selling Sacramento. Today's show, our topic of discussion, home buyer options that work and some that do not, a few that do not. And my reason for having that discussion today is twofold. Number one, because this is a very tough economic time, not just with trying to buy a home, but just a tough economy all around with gas prices up, with food prices that are rising ridiculous, with the stock market falling. Um, this is a prime season for predators, you all. This is a prime season where those types of individuals come out and they look to take advantage of people. So I want to make sure that we use this platform to make you aware of who those culprits are and what those packages and offerings look like. You may have already encountered them. Some of this information is not going to be new, but it's a great time to remind you of people who try to take advantage of you during times of challenges. And so on today's show, we're going to talk about those. And I named the show to kind of pull you in because the home buyer options that work, that part is coming over a period of the next 3 weeks. So you're going to have to stay tuned in because every week I'm going to have someone different on every show bringing you home buying options that work. And so get a pen and paper, write this down, mark your calendar, because on May 18th, my guest will be none other than the queen of down payment assistance herself, Miss Tanisha Broadway with Element Mortgage. And y'all know she's my girl. She's one of my lender partners who's been with me for years. And she will be on next week's show to talk about home buying options that work. On May 25th, mark your calendar because my guest on that show will be Mr. Jamal Bay, my lender partner with Guild Mortgage. And y'all have heard from Jamal a lot. If you're my client, you're probably in escrow with Jamal right now because that's just how we roll. He's a great guy and he is very well versed in what works. So we're going to be talking to Jamal on May 25th. And mark your calendar for June 1st because I want to introduce you to one of my new lender partners. And we're going to be doing some great things together in the future. But for right now, he's going to bring you some home buying options that work on June 1st. And that is Mr. Dyke Mundy. He's the vice president of home mortgage. He's the home mortgage sales manager and vice president at Tri-Counties Bank. So get ready because we've got the big cheese, one of the big cheeses at Tri-Counties Bank, who will be on our show June 1st. And we're going to be talking about home buying options that work. So what options don't work? What are you saying, Keisha, that don't work? I want to specifically use today's show to talk about three options, three really big, there's a word I'm looking for. You're going to hear about these opportunities in home ownership. And I want you to be very careful. So here we go. The first one is lease options, rent to own. I consider these, and I'm not going to be very popular saying what I'm about to say about lease options and rent to own. But maybe after you hear me out, you'll understand why I say what I say. Okay? So I personally categorize lease option programs the same as predatory lending. And why would I say that? Because there are two main reasons why a company is pursuing you for a lease option opportunity. The first one is because, and I should say there are two reasons why you would consider a lease option. Now walk with me. If you don't have if your credit is not where it should be in order for you to qualify for a home loan, you are a candidate for lease option, because one of the things they tell you is that you don't have to have great credit. If you are lacking in the funding necessary for a down payment and closing cost, you are a candidate for a lease option. Here is why I consider it predatory. Because most lease option arrangements require that you sign a contract with them for at least a year. A year is probably like the shortest time frame. It's more like 2 years or 3 years. It may even be with the owner of a property you're already living in, or with a company who has a handful of properties that they have contracted with the owner, or they may own themselves. And they're saying that you can move into it and rent that property. And with your rent payment, they'll tell you that part of that rent payment will be going towards your down payment. And you really think you're doing something special. And your rent is high. The other thing is that they come up with a purchase price up front. And you agree upon a purchase price that they typically will make that price higher, because they're trying to look down the road and say that the house that you're in will probably, in 2 or 3 years, we anticipate this type of equity gain. And so the value will be 3 to 7% higher, However, let's think about this now. 5 years from now, the direction that the market is heading, with interest rates increasing on purpose because the feds are intentionally trying to tighten up spending. They want people to just stop. If you enter into a lease option agreement where the price of the home that you are agreeing to purchase down the road is 3% higher, 7% higher, 10% higher than the value of the home today, which, by the way, unless you actually get an appraiser to pull the value, or a real estate professional to pull the value, chances are you're probably not even assessing the value properly to even make the proper determination with the price that they try to give you. You're going in upside down for years. Why is that a problem? You get locked into a contract today for a house where the value really is $400,000. And the seller says, when you purchase it in 2 years from now, you've got to pay $430,000 for it. $430,000, not $400,000. $430,000. And this really is a price. If we're looking at how the market is going to flatten, because that is my prediction, the market's going to flatten over the next 5 years. And flatten means that it's going to return to a price point. It will possibly return to a price point that we were comfortable with more around 2020. Market's not going to drop. It's not going to crash. All of the national folks, all of the national media folks have all gotten on board now, and now they are rightfully reporting that the market is not going to crash, but we will see a correction. But you get into contract in this lease option because these predators are out there now. These companies are out there now. They're pursuing you. They're coming for you. Why are they coming for you? Because rents are tight, mortgages are tight. It's hard to get a house. If you're looking to buy, you just want to get into something, this is a great home buying option. No, it's not. And here are a couple of other reasons why it's not a good option. Well, let me close that one up with regard to you going in upside down. You buy a home with the intention of being able to have a level of comfort financially as life goes on. You always know what your mortgage payment is going to be. You don't have anybody coming to you telling you next year your rent's going to be higher. No, your mortgage stays the same. If you get a 30-year fixed mortgage, you know how much your expenses are going to be every month. That never changes. So you go into this situation thinking that you have this house as a sense of financial stability. What if you lose your job? What if you decide in a couple of years you want to open a business? And we're assuming after you've exercised your right to purchase the home is now yours. 4 years down the line, you want to open a business. 4 years down the line, you want to go back to school. You want to pull out some money to help somebody go back to school, or make some improvements on your home, or open up your business. All of the things that a house should be used for. The equity you can use to do that. You are not going to be able to access your equity if you go in upside down. And when you enter into a lease option agreement, chances are you are going to be purchasing that home. It's going to cost you more in the long run. And you will not be able to utilize that home financially the way that a normal transaction would allow you to, the way that a market competitive transaction would allow you to. The other two things that I want to mention: you lose the option of choosing the home you want to buy, because now you got to choose right there within the inventory of what they had. You thought inventory citywide was tight. You only get to have the home that they offer to you. So the first reason, you're going to end up paying more. The second reason, you lose your right to choose. The whole beauty and romance of buying a home is the part of getting out there and looking around, right? You want to see what's out there. You want to find the home that when you walk into it, you're like, this is it. This is the home, right? You lose that option with a lease option. And then the third reason, which is probably one of the most important pieces, you still have to qualify when you exercise your option to buy that home. You still have to qualify for the loan. Your credit, this 2-3 year time frame is intended for you to, supposedly intended for you to be working on your credit and building a financial, bank account, allowing you the opportunity to save, to put money away, so that when you get ready to apply for your loan, you're all good, right? However, whoops, I almost knocked the microphone. How long does it take to improve your credit? Does it take 2 years? No. Whatever is going on with your credit can most likely be restored anywhere from 3 to 6 months, 1 year tops, depending on how crazy it is, but 3 to 6 months. And what most people don't understand is that you're probably not far off from where you need to be in order to qualify to buy. There are some instances where your credit score only needs to be a 580. To qualify for first-time home buyer down payment assistance, all you need is a 640. If you really want to unlock and access everything out there for you, then you want to have a 680 or even a 700. Those numbers are not hard to attain if you have the right people guiding you and if you have the right information in front of you. So those are my three reasons that I consider lease options, rent to own, predatory. They're right in line with, in my opinion, payday loans, title loans, because they're targeting the most vulnerable buyer. They're targeting you on purpose. And I encourage and implore you to do the work. Do the work on your own, because you can repair or restore your credit within a matter of 3 to 6 months. You don't need to get into a contract where you're now stuck in a 2 to 3 year lease option contract with someone who inevitably may try to take advantage of you, or even worse, because you now, let's say you're not able to exercise your right to buy the home because you didn't, you're at the end of the contract, but your credit is still not up because you never took the time to really do the work, or you didn't properly save. So that just means that you were never going to be ready for the house anyway. But now guess what they get to do? They get to get rid of you, and you lose the house. When you could have entered into an agreement with yourself that you were going to do the right thing and take the right steps so that you can be ready to purchase the home that you want under a time frame that frees you up on your own terms. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the next home buying option to be aware of. You're listening to 97.5 FM KDEE. I am Agent Key, and we'll be right back. Hey, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. If you are watching, let me know you're there. Say something in the chat. I don't know why my throat is scratchy. Come back here. Stuff in the air. Ooh, I'm hoping.
No, I'm getting some everybody.
I was supposed to go and view a property, do a walkthrough, and my client told me that we needed to reschedule because she tested positive for COVID. I'm hearing more people now closer saying that they're testing positive.
That's why I'm playing, man.
I'm about to get again,
I'm already there.
Yeah. Well, you never left.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I never left.
I think I got a little comfortable. Every now and then I won't put my mask on going into the stores, but I think I need to start doing it again. And yeah, start masking up, just walking through places with people.
Yeah, that's why we call that place right there COVID Alley. That's why I brought you back to it. I had to go to a jazz thing that helped the guy promote a little bit. And then people were just, I was going to the door, they looked at me like I was crazy.
Because you had your mask
I
on?
was like $8.95. I wasn't playing that because
yeah, your super mask on. Yeah.
And they was like, sir, you don't have to wear a mask. There's no more mask mandate. I said, no, I have a mask. I'm not here to impose anything on you.
Right.
Hold on.
Yeah. I do see a lot of people still wearing their masks, which is good.
Yeah.
And it actually feels like I see people increasing wearing their masks. So I think everybody's kind of getting wind that,
pick it back up.
Mm-hmm.
Every time we relax, is where it goes.
Yeah. Even though the people who are saying that they are testing positive, they're not being hospitalized, or they're not even feeling any symptoms. And I think that's because they, were vaccinated before, which is good. But still, just the idea of...
That's what it is for me. And you know what? My luck ain't great no way.
Oh, why would you say that?
Some stuff like that. I told you 2 years ago, I almost died from the flu.
Mm.
That lady said if they hadn't got me in there, they got me there an hour later.
Mhm. Oh, wow.
That was just the flu.
So that's another reason why you're probably extra careful.
Yes.
That would make sense. That would make
Well, I
sense.
just don't want it. That's the other thing. I just don't. Because people react to it differently,
Mhm.
and I just don't want it. I don't know, man.
I'm not going to be popular with some of these things that I talk about today.
Jesus wasn't popular either, was he?
Huh?
Jesus wasn't popular with the things he said.
No.
God is not popular with the things he said.
No.
So he's not trying to be popular, he's trying to be effective. That's
Yeah.
what
Huh?
and go.
We are back. You're listening to 97.5 FM KDEE. I am Agent Key. And on today's show, we are discussing home buying options that work and a few that don't. And this next one, actually, well, before I start with this next one, there is something else that I want to address that falls under the category of home buyer options that work. And I'm going to say with a question mark. This is a special category. This one just came out about a week ago. Governor Gavin Newsom announced it. You've heard about it in all of the news outlets, and it is the Forgivable Equity Builder Loan. And so the Forgivable Equity Builder Loan is a forgivable subordinate loan program that may only be used with a Cal HFA first mortgage. And I'm not going to steal Tanisha's thunder because she's going to come next Wednesday and talk about it in more detail. I want to bring it to the forefront and put it on your mind because I ran over a scenario with one of my lender partners. Oftentimes with these government subsidy programs, when it comes to home buyers assistance, they set up parameters and guidelines, and the program on the surface looks amazing and exciting. But then when people go to apply for the program, oftentimes the people who need it most don't qualify. And at a time like this, I think that it's imperative that our governments, federal, state, and city, really take a close look at these programs that they put out there before they pull the trigger on them to see how many people will actually benefit from it, who benefits from it. Somebody could have done exactly what I did with my lender partner when we made the determination that with this forgivable equity builder loan, the profile for the person who would benefit, who would qualify, is someone who's going to purchase a home at about $350,000. If we're looking at Sacramento median income, now that's income, but now let's take a look at Sacramento median purchase price. And this is the part why I say, if I could look at this and figure this out, surely someone in the governor's office could have figured this out. Every county median sales price for a home is going to be different. Right here in the Sacramento region, when you look at the stats from month to month, every zip code's median sales price is different. There are a couple of zip codes that are $100,000, $200,000 less, thousands of dollars less than other zip codes. So when you set up a program that targets one profile in one area, one category of income, but then you don't line that up with the product that you're trying to have them use it for, then it fails the people. And so I just wanted to bring that out. And, we'll have Tanisha on the show next Wednesday talking about the program in more detail. And I'm going to present that to her. I'll talk to her about that before she gets here. But I think that that's important. So, because what that means, if you only using this program, the max purchase price is $350, the median sales price in Sacramento County is about $560,000. That qualifies. That home is going to have some competition. That buyer's going to have competition. The $350,000 price point is right there with investors who have all cash. So the competition gets really fierce. So I would love to have a discussion, and maybe that's what I'll do. I'll reach out to those individuals directly and see if we can get some answers or an explanation as to how they came up with the calculations that they did, and if they're seeing the same thing that we're seeing. $350,000 purchase price point in Sacramento is not enough money. It's not enough for the cost of housing. So I just want to put that out there. So the next home buyer option that I think doesn't work is actually not a home buyer option, but if you are in your home, it's something that at a time such as this, the predators are going to come out. And again, I am not going to be popular for saying this. I have a couple of very close friends who think very differently than I do about this. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, reverse mortgages. I'm ducking right now. If somebody's trying to throw something at me, don't throw anything. Don't throw anything at me. I am not a fan of reverse mortgages, and I'm definitely not a fan of reverse mortgages at a time like this. So let's go right into the details. What is a reverse mortgage? If you're a property owner who's at least 62 years old, you can borrow against your equity to get cash or a line of credit from a lender. However, unlike a regular mortgage, you're not required to make monthly loan payments. You'll repay the loan when you or your heirs sell the house. So I am going to be fair. In all fairness, I'm going to talk about the pros before I talk about the cons, okay? So in addition to being at least 62, there are a few other requirements that you need to have in order to do this. You need to own the home outright or have paid down a considerable amount of the mortgage. The property has to be your principal residence, and you can't be delinquent on any federal debt. You'll be subject to a credit check and other eligibility requirements. You must stay current on the property taxes, insurance, and any HOA fees, homeowners association fees. And if you're approved for the reverse mortgage, you'll have to sit down through an information session given by an approved HECM, home equity conversion mortgage counselor. So let's talk about how it works. Reverse mortgages work in reverse. The lender pays you because you have a certain amount of an excessive amount of equity in your home. So that's why they require that you own the home outright or you have an abundance of equity in your home. And you can choose to either receive a lump sum, monthly payments, a line of credit, or a combination of those options. And let's talk about the reverse mortgage pros. So here are the sunshiny things that we see on the commercials. Y'all have seen the commercials. I've seen the commercials featuring not Spock. What's Captain Kirk? His name's not Captain Kirk. Y'all know William Shatner. Thank you. Y'all have seen the commercials with William Shatner. I've seen commercials. They use a lot of different stars who we can read. Tom Selleck, yes, yeah, Tom Selleck. The ones who we can relate to, or the people who are of that age bracket, 66 and up, stars that you knew back in the day who you know, love, and trust. That's intentional that they pull those individuals to represent this product. And they also highlight these. They say things like, it will help you secure your retirement. Who doesn't want to have a secure retirement, right? Reverse mortgages are ideal for retirees who don't have a lot of cash savings or investments, but do have a lot of wealth built up in their homes. A reverse mortgage allows you to turn an otherwise illiquid asset into cash that you can use to cover expenses in retirement. Now, I do need to say one little caveat. I'm not saying don't use your house to finance your life. There are other things that you can do strategically with the equity in your home rather than getting tied up in a reverse mortgage. Again, this is my personal, personal stance. Number two, you can stay in your home. This is one of the highlights. Instead of having to sell your home in order to liquefy your asset, you can keep the property and still get cash out of it. This means you don't have to worry about potentially downsizing or getting priced out of your neighborhood if you had to move. To that, I just want to say there's other things you can do where you don't have to sell your home in order to access your equity. Just want to say that. Number three, a pro that they promote about reverse mortgages, you'll pay off your existing home loan. Your home loan doesn't have to be paid off in order to take out a reverse mortgage. In fact, you can use the proceeds of a reverse mortgage to pay off an existing home loan. This frees up money to put toward other expenses. Doesn't this sound wonderful? Don't you want to run out and get a reverse mortgage? Don't. Number four, you won't have tax liability. This isn't fair. I can't be saying the con while I'm trying to say the pro. I need to be unbiased. I apologize, y'all. Act like I never said those other things. According to the IRS, money you get from a reverse mortgage is considered to be a loan advance rather than income. That is a nice little, okay. That means the funds aren't taxed, unlike other retirement income, such as distributions from a 401k or IRA. That is a bonus. That is, okay. Number five, you're protected if the balance exceeds your home's value. In some cases, the value of your home could end up being less than the total amount owed on the reverse mortgage. This can happen if home prices fall. For example, if this occurs, your heirs don't have to worry about paying the balance. So those are some of the pros about reverse mortgages. I'm saying nothing. Now we're going to talk about the cons or the downside. Though it might seem like there are many benefits, there are also some serious risks to consider. Now, this is where this product and why this product gets featured on the show today. because when they're talking about reverse mortgages on the commercials, they're not telling you these things. So these are the things you need to know and consider if you're considering a reverse mortgage. I do have to say, the pros sound really good. And this actually might be a product that fits someone, but you need to know the pros and the cons so that you make the right decision for you. Here we go. Number one, you could lose your home to foreclosure. In order to qualify for a reverse mortgage, you have to be able to afford the property taxes, homeowners insurance, HOA, and other costs associated with owning your home. You're also required to live inside the home as your principal residence for most of the year. If at any point during the loan period you become delinquent on these expenses or spend the majority of the year living outside of your property, you could default on the reverse mortgage and lose your home to foreclosure. What are they saying there? If they find out that you're delinquent in any of those areas or you've not been living there, they can call the loan due and file a foreclosure on your property. The second, your heirs could inherit less. This one's a big one for me because I know many people want to have something to leave their children. And home ownership and buying homes and working your way up from your first home to the last one and having all of these assets is a part of the legacy that you want to leave behind to your children. For a lot of people. For some people, this may not apply to you, and that's okay. That's all right. And this is where you have to know what the cons are as you set out to make this type of decision. Home ownership is a key path to building generational wealth. And however, a reverse mortgage usually requires the home to be sold to repay the debt. Let me say that again. With a reverse mortgage, in order to pay the debt, the house usually has to be sold. When you die, your heirs will be required to pay the full loan balance or 95% of the home's appraised value, whichever is less. Usually that means selling the home or turning the property over to the lender to satisfy the debt. Yeah, they didn't highlight that in the commercials. Tom didn't tell us that. Not to mention, a reverse mortgage eats away at your home's equity. By the time it needs to be paid off, there may not even be any equity left to your heirs, right? Consider that. The third con, it's not free. You might not have to make payments with a reverse mortgage, but there are still plenty of expenses associated with a reverse mortgage. Not only do you have to keep up on your taxes, insurance, and HOA fees, but you also have to pay an upfront insurance premium. Usually it's 2% of your home's appraised value. You'll also pay origination fees at closing. You do have the option of rolling these costs into your loan balance, but again, that means at the end you receive less money. The fourth downside, it could impact your other retirement benefits. A reverse mortgage may not be considered income for tax purposes, but it could impact your ability to qualify for other need-based government programs such as Medicaid or supplemental security income. And it's a good idea to discuss this with a benefits specialist to make sure that your eligibility won't be compromised. Let that sink in. The fifth reason, reverse mortgages are complicated. There are a lot of rules and caveats to reverse mortgages. These loans come with many risks that may not be worth the extra cash. You should be wary of any reverse mortgage offer unless you understand the terms really well. So, a reverse mortgage may be helpful, but it isn't for everyone. There are a few factors that can make it worth it. If your home is increasing in value considerably, if you plan to stay in the home for a long time, if you can cover the costs of your home, then a reverse mortgage may be right for you. But please know and consider the downside if the downsides will impact or have an effect on other goals financially that you were considering for yourself. You're listening to 97.5 FM KDEE. I'm Agent Key. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Hey, everyone. Hey, if y'all are out there, say something in the chat and let me know. I see you watching, but nobody said anything except Norman, which I appreciate. I like to know y'all are there. What'd you say?
Sometimes that makes them so good. You know, you kind of answer the question.
Well, the other thing I'm learning too is that people just watch on the under. They don't want to. They don't want to identify themselves.
They listen on the under.
They do what?
They listen on the under.
Oh, watch and listen on the under. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not on so many social media platforms. I know it's be jacking me about it, but that's the reason why.
You know, I don't even try to bother people anymore because I feel personally, you know, I admire people who don't have the need or desire to be on social media because it is it's addicting. It's addicting.
Yeah, you know what?
If I can learn to not, I feel like sometimes my hands and brain just are trained to just, you know, go and get on it. I'm like, oh, okay, this is. I used to be able to say I didn't have any addictions.
And just the fact that I had it was irritating.
Yeah.
Because I only had it to help save most of their stuff.
Yeah.
You know, then I had like a 10% off every song. So, you know, that was, but I hate it. I never went through it. And then one girl even had the nerve to say one time, she thought I was stalking her.
Oh, wow.
I really don't know how social media works like that. So
you did something that gave the appearance of stalking and didn't know?
To me, I think that's just what's going on inside of your head, though. Because, you know,
That's true, too.
Because I started getting talked about because I wasn't acknowledging anything or anybody else's Facebook.
Okay.
So I just said, well, I don't know what to do. So a few things you go by, you just like them, you know? Like them. I never really look at them. I just like them. And I guess that was the reason why she thought I was.
Oh, gee.
I'm like, well.
Especially if you were consistently doing it then. But you're right. Something has to go on in her mind to think that.
You know what
yeah.
I mean?
And she didn't know that. Right. Yeah.
You know, but everybody knew I hated.
But she wasn't considering, oh, maybe he's doing that to everybody.
Because the thing was, she was one of the people that was getting on my case about not responding to things on Facebook. And I'm like, I hate Facebook. So I figured that was a little tough about it.
Yeah.
So I just said, but not just her, it was everybody. Yeah.
Just making it look like you were participating even though you couldn't stand it.
I wasn't even looking at what I was like. I just hit it. I hit it like, it really, if you pay attention, it's been like, every time it's like 8 times.
Right.
So that's what I did for everybody. So I got
if she was really
2, 1. Yeah.
Hey everyone, we're back. You're listening to 97.5 FM KDEE, and we're closing out the show today. Home buyers options that work and a few that don't. Make sure you tune in over the next few weeks when I will be bringing in some of my lender partners that will share home buyer options that work. We are going to let them get down to the nitty gritty. Many lenders have in-house programs. And so you'll get an opportunity to hear from those lender partners about their in-house homebuyer programs that they have specifically and then the ones also that they have access to that are not just specific to them. So tune in the next 3 Wednesdays. Tune in right here, 97.5 FM, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. on Selling Sacramento for that information. And we're going to close out today's show with another quote unquote option that I want you to be aware of. So this option is not necessarily a home buying program, but this is a tool that gets you to the point of home buying, and that's credit restoration. On my shows every now and then, I kind of mention it, but I want to take this opportunity to lean into it a little bit deeper. And what I want to lean into a little bit deeper are the different credit restoration companies that are presenting themselves to you. At least once a week, definitely 2 to 3 times a month, I am having conversations with potential buyers who are telling me that they are working on their credit with a credit restoration company who is charging them a fee. Sometimes it's a flat fee of a couple $1,000s or $1,000, and they guarantee to wipe away your credit, your bad credit. So you can start with new credit, or they're paying this monthly fee that they've been paying now for 3 to 6 months, and their credit score has moved maybe 10 points, maybe 15, and now they're looking for them to send them more money. Oftentimes, these are companies who are large corporations or large organizations that are, I don't know, somewhere on the East Coast or down south. It doesn't matter where they are, but they set out to recruit credit specialists to work for them and represent them. And they say, you know, this can be your business. It's almost like a franchise. So you get this person who says that they have a credit restoration company, and here, go to my website. And it is a templated website because the company, the franchisor, sets them up on a website where they plug in their name and it looks like their company. And it has an application on there for you to complete, fill it out, and sign up and become a client. The only problem with that is that that person who just came to you and said that they can help you restore your credit, many times they are not the person that is actually working on your file. They give you a website or a link or something to upload your documents to a system where it's pushing your information out to a hub that could be located here in the United States, could be located in the Philippines, could be anywhere on the globe. It's very easy to create a system like that because of the cloud platform that exists now. The downside to that is that the person who approached you, who got you subscribed to their product, they really are not keeping an eye on what's happening on your file, because now they're out looking for their next subscriber. So they're trying to gather subscriptions for the main company. They're almost like the front man. And I'm not going to be popular for saying this, but I don't care, because, and I shouldn't say I don't care. I care about them too, the person that's doing it, because I don't know that they know that that's not the best way to go about actually helping someone restore their credit. I don't know that I care about the fact that they may not know that customer service is a better approach when you are actually talking with the person one-on-one, when the person is dealing with my credit or my personal financial issues, when I can see them or pick up the phone and call them and ask them what's going on, or go to their office, or they have somebody following up with me on a regular basis who I know is working on my file. When I used Tax Tiger with my IRS issue, and I've recommended Tax Tiger before, they are located right in Greenhaven. I know almost everybody up in there. I now the gal who was working on my file, first of all, the owner originally started working on my file, and she's still working on it. It's like the doctor/nurse type of scenario. So she's still the doctor of it all, but she got these nurses and they are on their job. When I get some kind of weird document or something, oh yeah, Keisha, we saw that. Or they're reaching out to me, they're being proactive. Hey, we want to let you know, here's where we are, here's what's going on, and you want us to do this, you want us to do that. They're being proactive. I feel served. I can pick up the phone or shoot an email and they are working on my file, that person. But with a lot of these credit restoration companies that are popping up out there, they do a really good job at creating YouTube videos and Instagram videos and, posting pictures, beautiful pictures of themselves, making it look like they're flossing because they live in large, while they're charging your credit card or your bank account every month for money that you could be throwing at your own debt, improving your own credit score faster than what they're doing. So beware. I really want to lean into that and emphasize that, because having good credit is the key to unlocking financial freedom. Having good credit is the key to unlocking financial freedom. And yes, I just painted that with a broad stroke. But oh, the rewards that are open to you when you get that piece right. You don't want to work on your credit for the moment. You don't want to throw somebody $1,000, $2,000 and wipe it away. That move is going to come back to haunt you. Let me just tell you that. That's going to come back to haunt you. I recommend finding a local credit restoration company, get some references, and make sure that you are working with someone who's going to pick up the phone when you call or call you back and know exactly what's going on with your file. Make sure you're working with someone who, on a monthly basis, you're going to see some improvements to your credit score. Someone who helps you map out a plan and lets you know what you can expect to happen month 1, month 2, month 3, and how much that's going to cost. And helping you map out a plan to get your budget right so that you don't fall back into the trap of having bad credit. Angela's watching and she said, exactly, because I'm paying Credit Karma and Rental Karma for nothing. Boom, there it is. You want to make sure you're working with someone, and this is a little bit of a commercial for them, like Jeff Sipes at Blue Water Credit. That's my guy. And I'm looking for other credit restoration companies. So if y'all know of any here locally who get the job done, who offer personalized service, let me know. I would love to be able to give them a shout out on the show. But that's the level. That is the expectation. where I am coming from. That is how you will get a recommendation or a referral from me. If you are someone local that's making it happen where you can back it up, Jeff Sipes at Blue Water Credit. So, okay, he's probably like the Beyonce and the Jay-Z of credit restoration. I just got to say that because, and I say that because they are the only credit restoration service nationwide that has received an A+ rating by the Bureau of Better Business Bureau organization, the only credit restoration company. A+ rating. They're right here in the Sacramento region. Their office is in Roseville. www.bluewatercredit.com. bluewatercredit.com. So if you are listening and you know of another credit restoration company, you don't have to be Jeff Sipes level, but you need to be local. You need to exercise excellent customer service and be proactive. I would love to know who you are and love to be able to refer you to all of my clients and all of our listeners. So I want to close this out, trying to see how much time I have. Oh, I am out of time, ladies and gentlemen. So we did get through everything. I wanted to share one more thing with you. The National Coalition of 100 Black Women, Inc. Sacramento chapter is presenting The Path to Hope, a plan for first-time home ownership. And it's a virtual event being held this Saturday, May 14th from 11 a.m. to 12:30. And there will be a panel discussion with audience Q&A, an opportunity for you to ask questions. And yours truly will be a panelist on the show during the event, along with Ms. Tanisha Broadway of Element Mortgage and Jeff Sipes of Blue Water Credit. So if you'd like the link to that event, hit me up at agentkey007@gmail.com. Ask for the link to the event. Some of you asked for it last week and you received it. Check your emails. If you'd like to receive a link and more information to that event, just say something in the subject line like Path to Hope, information, 100 Black women, home buyer workshop, something like that. That'll let me know that that's what you're asking for. And then I'll shoot the link back over to you. Shoot me an email at agentkey, agentkey007@gmail.com. agentkey007@gmail.com. And remember, if y'all are doing what you were created to do, I will see you at the top. Miss Ange, I didn't have my glasses on and you got lengthy with that text. Yes, I did utilize Blue Water Credit and it worked great. But then I was trying to get credit for paying my rent, but I don't really see that on my credit report like they claim you will. Oh, circle back to Jeff because he actually, did he talk about that? I think that's kind of new with them putting the credit on the credit report. Not Jeff, but like the whole thing. But circle back to him and ask him about that because you should be able to get that rent utilization on there. Yes, ma'am. All right, y'all. I'm out. Got to go find a piece of lettuce because I'm starving. See y'all next week. Bye.